The same thing. I grew up in the
13-year-old Taj Weems is hoping his words are his way out.
I remember I was little, I couldn't go outside. My granddad did drugs, eventually he died. We grew up poverty, mom and dad, they tried. I don't want to die young, I want to get old and die.
Their lyrics he penned detailing his life. He's from Sandtown, Winchester, a neighborhood decimated by poverty, drugs, and violence.
I got everything to live for. I got to make it out of here, do something for my family, for real.
A desperate promise by the 8th grader to himself as he and other kids his age look to escape the shadowy grip of the streets. They stand at the proverbial fork in the road, facing perhaps the most important decision of their lives. It's why Taj's sister brought him here to the kids' safe zone.
Let's go, let's go.
A refuge from the temptation of the wrong path.
But yeah, I think these kids need a good role model and stay off these streets because people die every day from these streets for real.
A grim reality Taj sees, not just on the TV screen, but with his own eyes.
You can't look on the news and see somebody not getting killed for real. Like, we got here for a clean neighborhood. We can't live in poverty for real.
But a significant group of children like Taj do live in poverty. According to U.S. Census data, more than a third of children younger than 18 living in Baltimore City live below the poverty line.
It's real hard for people to really make it out the hood. Some people die young.
Hard words for a teen who lost his innocence long ago.
Y'all know I'm real humble, trying to get this money to support the fam. Everybody know that loyalty is the man.
Hard words for a teen determined to create a better life for himself, for his family, and to leave the shadowy grip of the streets in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, they doing their thing. I remember I was...
On March 7th of this year, a group of children, including a 12-year-old boy, attack a man for his phone on Baltimore Street. An easy target as the students came home from school. Chief DJ Smith says Baltimore police arrested several members of the group, but not before they attacked another man.
We have to look at this as a problem that is affecting all of us as a community, because realistically, one of these kids could influence your child at one point or another.
So guys, need you guys line up.
Around the same time, Damian Cooper was making sure those influences didn't affect his boys.
Bro! Up!
All 40 of them.
A lot of times, our young people don't have any kind of outlets. They're coming from trauma in their homes and their neighborhoods, and so they're kind of acting off impulse of things they see.
Damian founded Project Numa, a place for young men to escape the daily sounds of gunshots, blaring sirens, and flapping crime tape.
That's the only thing you hear right now is my voice and the music.
A safe place for them to learn, to meditate, and to grow both physically and mentally.
They hear words like at-risk youth. They hear disenfranchised. They hear poor. They hear inner city. But these kids need to understand that they're assets, builders, and growers, and that they do matter, and that we do care.
The man guiding children down the right path experienced a life-changing moment while he's in college, one that almost killed him.
And there you go. I got right beside my home, and I felt someone behind me, and when I turned around, one of the guys pulled out the gun and pulled the trigger. Shot me point-blank range.
The bullet narrowly missed his heart.
Baltimore has become a very unforgiving city, and so if we can teach these young men to forgive and just take a deep breath, it can slow some things down for them to keep them out of those pitfalls.
Pitfalls that lead to jail or death. In the last year, there were more than 400 carjackings in the city. A majority of those were by children, including one that involved teens beating up and robbing Councilwoman Ricky Spector. Add on 5 youth homicide suspects and 15 juvenile homicide victims, and Smith says it's a problem.
We're not going to be able to arrest our way to the problem. And what kind of person do you think we're creating when you have a 13-year-old with 10 charges? What type of viable adult are we creating by consistently locking that person up?
Hands up!
It's why Damian made it his priority to invest in those he calls the future.
This is when they're usually climbing a mountain or they're falling off the cliff. So if we can get them here, we can get them prepared and set mentally and physically and spiritually for high school and beyond.
Like a lot of us, waking up for Andrea Brown and her family on some days can be a challenge.
I go to school too, so I'm up too. He goes to work. We just hustle and bustle.
But today, Andrea, her husband Alan, and her 7-year-old daughter Amira are ahead of schedule.
Let's get this show on the road.
The seemingly everyman morning routine stops there. Amir goes to school in West Baltimore, a side of the city riddled by violence, drugs, and vacated row homes.
These are your options. Either you go this way or you don't, or you go the bad way.
It's a razor's edge, one she knows firsthand. The daughter of a former drug addict, Andrea became a ward of the state, bouncing from home to home until she was old enough to join the Army and get her degree.
Yeah.
The specter of going the bad way pushes Andrea to make sure her daughter stays on the right path, bringing her to the kids' safe zone.
I think when parents drop their children off at the kids' safe zone, they know exactly what they're doing. They know their kids want to be safe. They can play and be safe. They can go outside.
It's a sanctuary for Amira and the kids of West Baltimore, like 13-year-old Taj Weems, an aspiring rapper from Sandtown, Winchester.
Yeah, I think these kids need a good role model and stay off these streets because people die every day from these streets for real.
That's my little buddy right there. Yeah.
A role model like Andrea, who volunteers here, mentoring Taj and other kids growing up in the same neighborhood she did.
It's a beacon in the community. That's what it means to me. What my daughter thinks, she thinks it's a place for friends.
The Army vet is reinforcing the idea of leadership to her mentees and her daughter.
Be a leader. Be the master of your own life. Peer pressure is there. It's everywhere. Even as adults, you know, people go through peer pressure. But at that age, I tell her, you know what, have your own mind.
It's a pushback to the groupthink mentality police believe is behind the rise of children committing dangerous crimes, including a spike in juvenile carjackings that plagued the city last year.
Be your own leader, and sometimes when you be your own leader, people will see that you step in your own light, they will follow you. And if you set a good example, then they'll follow along and they'll do the right thing as well.
Andrea says while kids should know right from wrong, the solutions, as well as the problems, start at home.
If you're not coming home to this, what do you expect? You know, I'm not expecting the mom and dad to be in their life, but somebody, uncle, aunt, grandma, somebody to say, hey, this is what you need to do. And it starts at home.
It's why she's making sure her daughter and her mentees like Taj understand the realities of the city and make their own choices, the right ones.
We grew up poverty, mom and dad, they tried. I don't want to die young, I want to get old and die.
That was good. I'm proud of you. Come here, give me hugs. Give me hugs. Oh, that was good. Really good.